In this video, we're going to discuss some interesting speed, time, and distance examples like this one, and even this one. They seem complex, but they can be simplified using our techniques. By the way, if you haven't checked out the previous video on systems of equations, be sure to do that as there were many other cool, interesting examples covered as you can see here. So what is speed, distance, and time? Well, distance is just speed times time. Speed is distance divided by time, and time is distance by speed. Average speed is just the total distance divided by the total time. So the key thing here is that average speed is not the average of all the speeds. That's usually not true. So it's always better to take the total distance and the total time. Okay, next we've got a cool example from the AMC 10. Henry decides one morning to do a workout. He walks 3/4 of his way from his home to the gym. So let's say this is a coordinate. Let's say we start at point 0 and he's trying to go to point 2 because it's 2 kilometers away from Henry's home. He's walking 3/4 of the way there. So he's walking to point 2 times 3/4, which is 3/2. So he walks to this point 3/2. At that point, he changes his mind and walks 3/4 of the way back home. So 3/4 of the way back home. This is the full way back home. He walks only 3/4 of that. So if he walks 3/4 of the way back home, he'll walk 3/2, the point he's at right now, times 3/4, which is equal to 9/8, and that's how much distance he'll walk back home. So he'll now be at the point 3/2, his original point, minus 9/8. And what is that equal to? 12/8 minus 9/8 equals 3/8. So he'll now reach the point 3/8. So from here, where does he go? So from here, he'll go back 3/4 again. So what he'll do is he'll see, oh, 5/8 of the way is still left. I have to walk 3/8 of that. That's what Henry will do. 5/8 times 3/4 equals 15/32. Let's add them up. 15/32, because he walks 5/8 of the way. He walks 5/8. There's 5/8 of the way left, and he walks 3/4 of that. 15/32 plus 3/8, the original position, which is 12/32. You get 27/32. Or because he's 3/8 of the way, there's going to be, you'll have to walk not 5/8 but 13/8 of the way, because there's 2 kilometers total. So 13/8 of the way, which is going to be 39/32. So he'll have to walk 39/32. 39/32 plus 3/8, which is 12/32, equals 51/32. Okay, you know what the point is? These fractions are just going to get uglier and uglier. We don't even care about that. We need to focus on what we're trying to find. So what the problem says. You'll get very close to walking back and forth between a point A kilometers and a point B from home. What is the distance between these 2 points? So what does this mean? So it means he starts here, he goes here, he goes here, he goes here, he goes here. It's like at first his movement will be kind of random. We'll just be moving all over the place. But eventually he'll kind of settle down and just be moving pretty much between 2 points here. And the key thing here is that after he moves from point A to point B, then he'll move from point B back to point A, not to some other random point on the number line. So what does that mean? Again, we've got our 0 and our 2 here. Let's say he's at some point A, right? That's the point A kilometers from home. So let's just make it capital A. Then he'll go to a point capital B. And what is capital B in terms of A? Well, there's 2 minus A of the distance is left, and he's going to walk 3/4 of that. So he'll be at this point here, which simplifies to A plus 3/2 minus 3/4. A equals 1/4. I should make that a capital A. 1/4 A plus 3/2. So 1/4 A plus 3/2, that's what B will be. Okay, so now from B, that's this point now. Now he's going to, he's going to walk 3/4 of the way back. But he's going to have to walk all the way back to A. So what is 3/4 of the way back from point B? Well, 3/4 is just going to be 3/4 of this. 1/4 A plus 3/2. So he has to walk 3/4 of that, right? So he'll reach a point that is going, so he starts at the point 1B, which is 1/4 A plus 3/2, and he walks 3/4 of the way back. So subtract that to get 1/4 of 1/4 A plus 3/2, and that's where his point will be. And this is 1/16A plus 3/8. Now the key thing here is that A equal to 1/16A plus 3/8. So 15/16A equals 3/8. So that means A is 16 by 15, 3/8, cancel, 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 cancel. A equal to 2/5. So now what is B equal to? Well, if A equals 2/5, well, remember, this is the point B. So we plug that in. 1/4 times 2/5. What is that? That's 2/20, 1/10, plus 3/2. That's 16/10, which simplifies to 8/5. So this is 8/5. So now these are the 2 points, and once we reach these points, he goes from A to B, and then he must go back from B to A, as we found here. Because at this point, he'll come back from B to go to this point here, and this point is equal to A, where A is equal to 2/5. So he'll just keep going A to B, then B to A, then A to B, and so on. So the answer is just absolute value difference, which is 6/5, also 1 and 1/5, which is as the answer format and the choices gave. So 6/5 or 1 and 1/5. Okay, next problem over here. Al walks down to the bottom of an escalator that is moving up, and he counts 150 steps. Al counts 150 steps. His friend Bob walks up to the top and counts 75 steps. If Al's speed of walking is 3 times Bob's speed, how many steps are visible on the escalator at a given time? So this is an interesting problem. What does it mean when he counts 150 steps? Well, the key thing here is that this escalator is moving constantly. So the key thing here is that if he counts 150 steps, then he was going at the speed where the 150 steps were shown to him. But his friend Bob walks up to the top and only counts 75 steps. So what does that really mean? Like, that's the tricky part of this problem. What does it mean where there's 150 steps being counted versus 75 steps being counted? Well, the trick here is to see that the amount of steps that you see is directly proportional to the amount of time that you're on there. The reason that's true is because, well, if he's on there for, let's say, a long time, then you'll see a lot of steps. But if he's only on there for a short time, if he's skipping up fast, then he'll only have a smaller number of steps. Because as he goes on the steps, the time will just be proportional to that. Okay, so from here we know that steps is proportional to time. So if Al's speed is 3 times Bob's walking speed, how many steps are visible on the escalator? So Al's speed is 3 times Bob's speed. But the thing is, let's just say Bob's speed is x, so Al will be 3x. So Bob x, Al 3x. So because Al has a speed of 3x, Well, but he's also walking down to the bottom of an escalator that's moving up. So he'll be going at a speed of 3x minus e, because he's going against the escalator. But Bob will be going at x plus e. If Al's speed is 3 times Bob walking speed, yeah, we already used that, how many steps are visible? So remember how Bob only has 675 steps. So Bob must have gone, along with the escalator's help, 2 times faster. So this must be equal to 2 times net. This is Al net, and this is Bob net. So Bob net is 2 times Al net, because Al is going down up. This is 6x minus 2e. We simplify, 3e equals 5x. E is, or let's just say x is 3/5 e. X is 3/5 times e. So that means now that Bob has an equivalent speed of 8/5 e, but he gets counted of 75 steps. So what about nobody's walking? It's just escalator moving up. That's what it means by how many steps visible at a given time. How many steps are showing is basically the amount of time, is proportional to the amount of time the escalator will take just going on its own. As you can see here, because it's just going to have its own speed and that's it. And that's how much time it will take for all the steps to be that were shown not to be shown. So if x is equal to 3/5 times e, then, well, then if Bob sees 75 steps walking at a faster pace than the escalator, then walking at a slower pace, 5/8 slower, the escalator itself will have 8/5 times 75 equals 120 steps. That's the answer for this one. So to summarize, we looked at the steps, we converted that to time, a time condition, and then we just used our speed, distance, time formula and found an equation. Now I'll move on to this interesting problem over here from the AIME. A 100-foot long moving walkway can move at a constant rate of 6 feet per second. Al steps onto the start, right there, and stands. Bob steps onto the start 2 seconds later, so a little behind, and walks 4 meters per second. Cy reaches the start of the walkway 2 more seconds, so Cy is the most behind. So Cy is starting way back here. And Cy does not even walk on the walkway, just walks besides the walkway at a constant rate of 8 feet per second. So 8 feet per second, but not on the walkway. I put meters per second. I meant to say, let's just put 4 and 8 for now. So Al really is moving at 6 meters per second because of the walkway. And therefore Bob must be moving at 4 plus 6, so 10 meters per second. At a certain time, one of these 3 persons is exactly halfway between the other 2. At that time, find the distance between the start and the middle person. How do we do this? Well, let's first consider how far will Cy be after t seconds. Let's say after t secs, how many feet far will Cy be? After t seconds from Cy starts, Cy will be 8t far away. What about when t seconds after Cy starts? How far will Bob be? Well, 10t, right? But there's an additional 2 seconds because Bob started 2 seconds before Cy. Plus 2. And then Al, 6 times t plus 4, because Al started 2 seconds ahead of Bob, who started 2 seconds ahead of Cy, as it said in the problem. Bob steps on 2 seconds later, and then 2 seconds after that, Cy reaches the start of the walkway. So these are the 3 expanded terms, and let's write this in a simpler way. 8t, of course, 10t plus 20, 6t plus 24. Okay, so now the problem states that at some time, one of them is halfway between the other 2 people. What does that mean? Well, let's just write here. Cy, Bob, and then Al. At one point, one of them must be halfway, which means that they must be the average of the other 2 people's distance. So what does that mean in the context of this problem? Well, first of all, who even can be the first one to start? Who even can be the one Who's first? Who's last? Who's in the middle? Well, notice that Bob will always be ahead of Cy, no matter what. Bob will always be ahead of Cy. So essentially now we have three cases here. If Bob is in the middle, let's say Bob is in the middle, then 10t plus 20 equals 2 times 8t plus 6t or plus 24, or this divided by 2 because it's the average. So the average of Cy's and Al's position after t seconds, this, is equal to Bob's position if Bob is in the middle. But can we solve this equation? Let's try. 10t plus 20 equals 14t plus 24 by 2, 7t plus 12. So 3t is, negative 8. That can't work for sure. Now what about if Al is in the middle? Then 6t plus 24 is 10t plus 20 plus 8t by 2. And this becomes 12t plus 48 is 18t plus 20. So 6t equals 28. T equals 28 by 6, 14 thirds. Okay, so if t equals 14 thirds, maybe that works, but let's first check the last case. Cy is in the middle. Okay, so if Cy is in the middle, then, well, what is Cy's position? Cy will be 8t equal to 10t plus 20 plus 6t plus 24, right? Divided by 2. And we multiply 16t equals 16t plus, this can't work either. So because this is not an equation we can solve. So therefore, we're just left with this final thing, t equals 14 thirds. So if t equal to 14 thirds, then what is the distance between the start of the walkway and the middle person, who we discovered, in this case, the middle person was Al only. So the middle person, we plug in 14 thirds times 6 plus 24, and that gives us 52. And that is the final answer for this problem right here. Let's summarize. So basically, we see this time, they're going different times. So what we do is we essentially write the equation in terms of time, and we could do -2 and -4 for other people instead. When we say time starts when Al goes, but that would be harder. So we just say that let's give A and B some extra time rather than taking away time from B and C. And then we just found the equation in terms of time, and then we just considered the cases where one is in the middle, and we just say the average of the other two equals the position of the one in the middle. And then we just looked at the three cases. Only one of them was actually sensical. The other ones had things like t is negative or t is undefined. So we were left with one answer. And that is it. Cool problem. But next time, we're going to talk about number theory. And there's many cool topics in number theory like modular arithmetic, diophantine equations. You can check out the first part of number theory here. Hope you enjoy.